Ayn Rand, the legendary philosopher and the author of the classic tomes The Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged, produced a tremendous amount of cherished writing. And she was able to do that because she understood the techniques involved in producing clear and compelling prose. She used a 5-step writing process. I'm going to review that with you right now. This is my cheater notes, which is a printout of a blog posting I wrote about 2 years ago. If you'd like to see the full treatment on this, just go to MikeConsol.com, as it says in the headline, and go to my blog. Step 1, limit your subject. Rand advises writers to really ask themselves 3 questions along these lines. Number 1, what is it that I want to write about? In other words, define the subject or the topic. Number 2, what do I have to say about this topic? In other words, you set your theme. And then thirdly, what do I have to say that's new about the subject? Rand says if you don't have anything new to say, she wouldn't even bother putting pen to paper. Step 2 is to judge your audience. In order to write persuasively, we really have to understand the characteristics of the audience. Step 3 is to create a plan of action. Like a lot of experienced writers, Rand was a big believer in the power of the outline. Step 4 is to draft from the subconscious mind. And this is the most interesting of her suggestions. What Rand's talking about is basically stream of consciousness writing. And what she did is she would write without stopping, and she would, as much as possible, not think consciously about each of the next sentences that she was going to write. Now, I use this technique all the time. It's very difficult, but it also produces good results. So it's worth the effort. Step 5 is to edit objectively. And what Rand does is she edited her copy from 3 different perspectives. First, structure. Does the structure hold together? Second, the clarity. Is the clarity there? Is it as clear as you want it to be? Are you really saying precisely to the audience what you intended to say? Third is style considerations. Is the style what you want it to be? And she has some style suggestions. Don't overcomplicate a simple thought. The simpler the words you use, the better. Don't use sarcasm. Don't use pejorative adjectives. And don't use inappropriate humor of any kind. And lastly, don't use bromides or cliches, in other words. Now, Ayn Rand died almost 30 years ago, and this year her books are expected to sell 2 million copies. So given the way she has stood the test of time, I think we do well to take her advice seriously.